Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here, hanging out with Luke. We've got some conversations we wanted to share, and we're just going to go here and there and everywhere, wherever we feel led, so that we can
Wherever the words may take us.
wherever the words take us. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I just got back from vacation, and I was 5 days away, so that's awesome. And I spent time with family and the kids, and it was great. But you take 2 days off work. There's a bunch of accumulation of emails, and then also running. Now I kind of have two work. I have two jobs, this and my real life work. So that's good though.
Yeah, so a curious question, non-Splinterlands, more a content creator. Because I'm assuming part of coming back from vacation, I felt this as well, is like you missed all this communication with your community, or maybe there's Discord messages, YouTube comments, all that stuff. Is there a point, because now you're over the 5K hurdle there, is there a point where you're like, man, I just can't keep up with like all the YouTube comments anymore? Because
Yeah.
from what I've seen, you've done a great job responding to all of them and interacting as much as you can. But is it feeling like it's getting overwhelming for you, or possible to keep up?
Yeah, I every time. So this will be interesting to you because I know you're thinking about doing the members thing. So YouTube has one of the things that they suggest you offer to your members is that they would have priority response on their comments. And that's a great idea. I love it because they're supporting the channel. I want to engage with them. I want to touch base with their topics and their concerns. So I take that really seriously. And I also, up to like 2,000 subs or ish, I was responding to almost every comment, maybe every comment.
Yeah.
And then now, but at 5K, and I can't keep up. It'd be a full-time job to get in there and properly read and respond to all. So my new goal, my new line in the sand is that I hopefully am replying to all of my member comments. But here's the catch. When I get a new member that signs up, YouTube gives me all of their old comments from whenever they started commenting on my stuff. And so in some situations like Calamero, I'm looking at you, buddy. Calamero 427. He's a comment warrior, and the guy replies on every single video. And as a result, when he became a member, I had, I don't know, through 200 different comments from Calamero alone. So that's my new line in the sand. And just yesterday, I finished all of my members only comments. So I'm hoping I can stay on top of that, because that would be a nice way for me to pay the respect to those boys and girls. Appreciate them. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to do that, because as you said, yeah, it snowballs to a point. It's like, as you start off, you're like, yeah, I want to talk to everyone and make sure that, I treat everyone the same, but just the nature of the game, I guess it gets impossible at some point.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I mean, I like reading the comments. That's why I do those frequently asked question videos. But holy cow, man, it's just not possible.
There you guys have it. Dwayne, too popular now.
How about you? It must be getting a little bit wild over there. And 2,500 or 3,000, where are we now?
Yeah, I think literally just 3,000. Last time I looked this morning, it was like 2,999. So if someone subbed during our talk here, it's at 3.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely feeling that pressure. And I mean, I'm still getting to a lot of comments because I haven't been doing as much content lately with the Thanksgiving break and all of that stuff for me on vacation. So with less videos, it's easier. If I'm uploading 4 or 5 videos a week, then yeah, it's getting a little bit too much even for me here. But yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I'll take it to membership next.
Mm-hmm.
Give a little motivation.
Yeah, and you from time to time you have time and you get through them and you go check out the non-member stuff. Of course you do, but it's just like, you can't promise that, and you just do your best.
Yeah. All right, so I think the question, maybe it's a hot topic right now, Dwayne, is how are you feeling about Splinterlands and crypto in general? I think we were talking before this video a little bit. SPS prices a little bit down, not crazy down, but a little bit down. DEC a little bit down. Card prices have gone down, depending on which card you're looking at, maybe a couple cents, even up to a couple dollars with some of the new reward cards. I was looking at this morning beta packs because I got gifted one. At one point, I think when I did that video about it, it was like something crazy like $500. and then I looked today, it was like 150 or something. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know how are you feeling about Splinterlands, the market in general? What's your feeling? What's your take?
Well, it seems to me like the assets are mostly holding their value and or improving. And I do agree that there are certain cards that that's not true. I was looking at the market before we went live here, and there was I noticed that all of the common cards have gone a bit like 20 to 30% down. Like they're around 13 cents, and they've been 20 cents, or in some cases a little more. And so that's not inconsequential. But I do think that that's a product of two things probably. Those cards are continually being released, and there was just a season end. So then, there's hundreds and hundreds of, well, there's thousands and thousands of copies that go onto the market right at season end. And then also people are getting excited for December 8th, right? And they want to save the money for those Chaos Legion cards that are going to pop onto the market after people like me open packs. That's my thinking. What do you think?
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd hit the panic button so that I could, put the clickbait thumbnail up there. Dwayne says time to panic.
A big sweat drop.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm not worried about it at all, and it's hard to say exactly why prices are going down. Is it Chaos Legion? Is it the reward cards more being printed? Is it Bitcoin fell under 60K?
That's
So
true.
whatever. I don't think it's really that big of a deal right now, and even some assets like land is still up at like $800, and untamed packs are still higher. So I don't think there's anything to necessarily worry about. And I think the only time I ever worry is that if I'm thinking so short term, right? If I'm really worried about what my account is valued this week or this month, and trying to flip cards, or I'm trying to, trade SPS in and out so that I'm getting more and stacking more. I'm not really doing that. I'm just kind of looking more towards what could this be in 2-3 years. So what happens in the months between that, not a big deal to me. And these dips, if anything, is like, hey, I can pick up some more assets. So I'm actually kind of happy with it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying it until those prices go up. But every one of those reward cards under 20 cents, that's ridiculous. And one day we're gonna look at those and they're gonna be, I don't know, 10x, maybe in some cases 100x. Like it's gonna depend how the cards evolve. So some people are going to think I'm just like blowing smoke. I'm just trying to get excitement and FOMO. I've seen it happen where like the genie was like half a penny. The gelatinous cube was a penny. The Onyx Sentinel was 10 cents. The even the flesh golem, which everybody knows, one of those powerful tanks in the game, that thing was like, I'm pretty sure I bought a level, I think level 10 is max. And I believe I bought a level 8. And I'm pretty sure I spent like $50-$60 on it. The thing's worth over $1,000. And so, I mean, these cards are just, there are only so many of them. The amount of players are growing. So that's a recipe for price appreciation. And I feel that message needs to keep being said, because I'm not certain everybody gets that. And so I'm like, I'll go in, if I could show you I don't want to cut out of the Discord right now, but if I could show you my account, it's got hundreds of copies of most of those reward cards, the Heatsmith, the Conjurer, the Bandit, all the new ones, because they're practically giving them away, and I'm happy to sit on them for 2-3 years.
Yeah, so with these price little dips, they're not major dips. Are you looking to buy any right now, or are you just like, I'm waiting for Chaos Legion stuff, I'm more focused on that, I'm not going to worry about it? What's your strategy right now?
Well, yesterday I bought probably $400 worth of, hang on, how much? It's 40,000 DEC worth of cards, and so 400-ish, and it was almost exclusively those cards, those cheap ones. Like I bought 100 copies of the Crystal Smith, and I bought 4 gold copies of the Crystal Smith, which were roughly $25 each. And that to me is one of those cards that it's just a slam dunk. That thing's a layup, actually. It's like, it's so easy. Just, it's right there. Go pick it up and then thank yourself in the future. Because it's like $1 or 80 cents or something per BCX, but it's the only healer for the white team that has tank heal at level 1. There is no
Mm,
other monster on that team that has tank heal at that level. If you play in silver, if you play in bronze, that's most people, by the way. Um, you need that card, period. And it's going to be, you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like the Wavesmith all over again, where people see the Wavesmith as particularly valuable in those low levels, and you need at least one copy. So there's 400,000 people buying one copy. What does that do to the price? Of course, it shoots up to like $5, $6 on the Wavesmith. And the Crystal Smith, they haven't seen that yet because they don't need it today. And most people, even though your channel is growing so much and my channel is growing so much, and we're doing, we're telling this type of thing to people all the time. There's hundreds of thousands of people who have no idea about this point. And they're right now today, they're using the Divine Healer. They're using the Angel of Light. They're at a higher level. They're using the Truth Speaker. All of those cards are non-functional at a low level or in the modern, what will be the modern league. So there's literally one healer, and it's the Crystal Smith, and they're giving it away, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting to think through the strategy of, am I buying cards for the potential modern format coming up or the wild format? And yeah, I think it's super smart to start thinking about which cards aren't you going to be able to use in the modern format, because you're right, no Divine Healer on the life team. You have to have a healer. I mean, that's the whole point of the life team, I feel like, for the most part. And so, yeah, I think Crystal Smith, those types of cards where, it might seem like, oh, there's already a card like that because of the, beta, alpha, all those cards. But if they're removed, and especially removed from the starter deck, Divine Healer gets removed from the starter deck. Not only will you not have a healer in the modern format, you could potentially don't have one for the wild format if you don't own a Divine Healer or renting it. So, yeah, I think those cards are definitely going to be more valuable once that change happens, whenever, January, February, hopefully.
Yeah. And I think there's a number of cards that way. And if people are paying attention to what we're saying right now, I think the point isn't just that the Venari or the Venari Crystal Smith is the single opportunity for you financially here. No, that's not the point. There are dozens of cards, probably, at least dozens of cards that at the right moment in the right way can really can leverage your investment because of either, like you pointed out, beta cards being retired out of what'll be the modern format and retired from the starter pack. And those have implications for the value and price appreciation of certain cards that will need to then be bought because they're super pivotal to have a certain functional deck in the wild format. And it changes so many synergies that you need to, if you can think that through, you're going to see the opportunities around you. Crystal Smith is one of them, but there are others for sure.
Yeah. I would also love to get your thoughts as a higher level player than me. When you're thinking about holding cards long term, I think there's two ways you could think about it. As you said earlier, what are all the, bronze, silver, gold players needing for that level 1 card that, thousands and thousands of people are going to be targeting that one level 1 card? Or, as a higher level player, you probably also experience and know, what are those top level cards that are necessary to win, which, for me, I'm only playing with mostly level 1 cards, so I don't get that experience. So do you approach it more so as I want to hold on to those, look for those cards that lower level players need because there's going to be more of them, or also at higher leagues, less people need them, right? But you need whatever, 100, 200, 400 copies of this card. How do you think about that?
I take both of those for sure because I play at a diamond or a champion level, and last season I finished champion 3, and I want to always be at the highest level of competitiveness. If I had more time without, aside from YouTube and whatnot, I would be shooting for champ 1, and I'd be trying to build a deck that was available to get me there. And that side of investment is particularly profitable from the rental side because those cards are so rare. You're right. Like, to have a maxed out copy of a card is, especially the older those cards are, it's exceedingly rare. And that's why you see some card like Yodin or whatever, or, Lord of Darkness, they rent for hundreds of DEC per day at the end of the season. And so, like, I just rented, so a bit of a tangent, but I'm renting at the end of my season when I finish when I feel I've reached my pinnacle of where I want to get. I made it to Champion 3 and I immediately rented all my cards. Not all of my cards. I had to keep 500,000 power, but I rented 700 or 900,000 power, and I got, I think, 17,000 DEC for one day.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that just goes back to your question. I'm doing both. One is I'm building a deck that will compete at a high level, and I'm utilizing those assets as maximally effectively as I can, both in playing as well as in tournaments sometimes, and lastly by renting at certain key moments. But then I'm also doing what your other part of your question was, which is accumulating assets that will be helpful at silver or bronze, because those are resales. I want to keep those at low BCX, 1, 5, 10 BCX in a card, with the vision for long-term resale. And I've just seen it too many times where they appreciate. So I definitely want to have like 200 copies, maybe 1,000 copies of every one of those cheap reward cards. And the same will be true for the new Chaos Legion cards, because there's going to be 5 or 10 new Chaos Legion cards that everybody thinks are dumb, and they're going to be giving them away, and I'll be buying them just like I've been buying the Heatsmith and you know what happens? Those cards that are underpowered, the developers know which cards are underpowered. They know which ones have a high win rate and which ones have a low win rate. They consider these things, and they try to blend the abilities, they try to create new abilities or new monsters that will synergize, that will open up new opportunities to create utility in those older cards. So if you think that like a certain card is really terrible, understand that there's going to be an evolution of the deck, and that thing is going to find new utility, especially if it's really inexpensive but it has a role. Those are cards that I love buying.
Yeah. No, and I think as a low level player, that's why I honestly push people to watch you as well and other higher level players, because us low level players, we don't generally think about those cards and what's important when they are maxed out, because we just see the, as you're saying, the Pelacor Conjurer that's 15 cents or whatever right now, and you're like, 2 mana, 4 health, whatever, that's kind of lame. But you combine that up enough levels and it has whatever, I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, 6 HP and Magic Reflect and all that stuff, and all of a sudden it becomes more valuable to higher level players. And I think that's what's kind of cool about this YouTube Splinterlands community, is everyone's got their own different viewpoints based on where they're playing and where the community is at. And that's something I want to get better as a low level player, is recognizing not just the value of the card at level 1, but what is the level value, at silver, at gold, at diamond, all that stuff, because it is important to the value of the card to think about the whole picture, which is not easy to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.